very happy to be here. It is exactly 3 a.m. I'm very happy to welcome you to this stream. Feel free to be part and parcel of our streams, and I'm very happy this evening to be here. It's such a wonderful time. Let us continue reading. Let us continue reading the word. Any questions up to there? It is 28th of April 2026, and I'm very happy to be here. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment to this channel and tell me where you're watching me from. I'm blessed this time to be here. Remember, you can be part of our streams every day simply by subscribing. So, if you just subscribe to this channel, at this time, you'll be able to stream the scripture. And I'm very happy to be here this wonderful night. And I always tell people the joke that if your job is to eat a frog, you wake up very early in the morning and eat the frog. That is the only solution. If your job is to eat 2 frogs, you start with the biggest frog in the morning. Huh? If your job is just you feel you'd rather be sleeping or you'd rather be doing something, but you have no choice, all right? You have to be there on time, all right? And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I'm blessed this wonderful time to be here. We are reading the book of Isaiah. Feel free to join me every night, for 1 hour only. 1 hour here, 1 hour there, and through that's the only way we're going to do it. But if you say you're going to do it non-stop, well, it becomes very impossible. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Let us continue reading. Any questions? Feel free to subscribe and comment. Let us continue reading. Where were we? We were in chapter 9. Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those days who were in distress. In the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations. If you're new to this channel, feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. I'm very happy to welcome you. Will continue reading, and feel free to be part of our streams every day. I know some of you are feeling the heat, but don't worry. We're just about to finish, reading the scripture. In no time, be able to finish. So if you're new to this channel, feel free, feel that you're part and parcel of our streams. Any questions up to there? Let us continue. But in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan. The people walked in darkness, but have seen a great light on those living in the land of deep darkness. Any questions? Feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. We're streaming live. A light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. I want to welcome you this evening to the streams. I'm very happy to be here. Welcome to the streams. I'm your host, Raymond Mutuku. We're reading from Isaiah chapter 9, and we'll continue reading. So if you did not subscribe, feel free to subscribe. Let's continue reading. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They'll rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. For as in the days of the Median defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. I'm very happy to be here. Did you subscribe to our channel? Kindly subscribe to our channel. We are reading the scripture. Remember, we'll just be here for 1 hour. So let's take advantage of this 1 hour and read the scripture. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. Remember, we just have a few days to complete our read of the scripture. Time is a luxury that we don't have, so we'll be moving very quickly. And forgive me if you feel that we are moving very quickly. I know some people are feeling, you're saying, "Oh man, this is too much," but I understand. We're just about to finish. When you're just about to finish anything, there's usually that pressure. So I know you guys. I just wanted to see, can we do it in up to the end of May? That is the problem. Time is usually the enemy is time. I'm not. I have no. Um, I have no problem, but the problem is time. All right. So we'll be moving very quickly, and yeah. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. And if you have any burning question, you can ask me your questions at the comment section. Don't feel free to ask me any questions and be part of our streams. Any questions up to there? Let us continue moving, and feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. The yoke that you have shattered, the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. Any questions? Any questions? And for those who are wondering, we are reading from Isaiah chapter 9, and we are moving. I know it might look like it's very slow. We are behind time, but believe me, we are really trying our best in the circumstances. All right. So I want you to understand that we are reading the scripture word for word. All right. Don't believe, we are reading the scripture word for word. Don't believe those people who say that it is impossible. It is very possible if you are focused and you can read the word. Any questions? For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace. So here for the first time, for those who need to know, or for those who are following this channel, for the first time, we have now encountered the first prophet who prophesied the birth of Christ. And the first prophecy concerning the birth of Christ is found in Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6. All right. So Isaiah, one of the things about Isaiah was clarity. He would prophesy something with clarity. For here you have just, if you read that verse, when the three wise men were looking for, the child, they were referring to the texts in the Old Testament. There were some few texts written in the book of Isaiah, in the book of Micah. All these prophets talked about the birth of Jesus. All right. For the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. Any questions up to that? Feel free to subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. We'll be here for 1 hour. Then later, another hour, we'll go to the other channel known as the Chariots of Fire. We'll be streaming for 1 hour. 1 hour here, 1 hour there. We'll be building both at the same time. Any questions? The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. The Lord has sent a message against Jacob. It will fall on Israel. All the people will know it, Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria, who say with pride and arrogance of heart, the bricks are fallen down, but we will rebuild with dressed stone. Any questions up to there? I know you guys are wondering. It's raining. The conditions are not, the conditions are not favorable. But even with bad conditions, we'll continue with the channel and we'll continue with our streams without fail. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. Do you enjoy the streams? If you do enjoy this channel, subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. Right now, I don't want to get into politics. I know some people want me to talk about politics, but not today. The bricks are fallen down, but we will rebuild with dressed stone. The fig trees have been felled, but we will replace them with cedars. But the Lord has strengthened Rezin's foes against him, and has spurred their enemies on. Arameans from the east and Philistines from the west have devoured Israel with an open mouth. Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away, his hand is still upraised. Any questions after that? Feel free to subscribe and comment. I don't know why. Welcome to this channel. Let me try to. All right. I don't know. Yes. Is it much better? The screen is much better, right? Yeah. Now the screen is much better. I can now see. It was a little bit dull. Any questions? And the noise you're hearing outside is rainfall. It's raining, and I'm very happy to be here. This wonderful. Welcome to the stream, and tell me where you're watching me from. Do you enjoy our channel? If you do enjoy our channel, feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. I love visitors, so feel free to be part of our, daily streams. All right. And this channel, just for your information, is kind of a neutral channel. I wouldn't want us to engage in politics, because right now things are very volatile, and I wouldn't want us to engage in such uh, you know such stories. Any questions up to there? Feel free to be part of these streams and tell me where you're watching me from. Remember that we have a policy of reading. Just give me a minute. I understand right now that there are so many wonderful stories, but forgive me, we'll not talk about them, because most of these political stories, or with political intrigue, most of the times most people don't have complete information. You are arguing from what you saw on the TV, or you are arguing from what your friend told you, but maybe you don't have the full story. All right. Any questions up to there? Let's continue reading. The bricks are fallen down, but we will rebuild with dressed stone. The fig trees have been felled, but we will replace them with cedars. But the Lord has strengthened Rezin's foes against him, and has spurred their enemies on. Any questions? Any questions up to there? Mm-hmm. 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 Just give me a minute. I was just eating something. Mm. Mm-hmm. They're not taking my supper, so. Mm-hmm. 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 I'm not taking my supper, so we'll just be streaming while I'm. Let's continue reading. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Mm-hmm. But the people have not returned to him who struck them, nor have they sought the Lord Almighty. So the Lord will cut off from Israel both head and both palm branch and reed in a single day. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I'm very happy to be here. I always say that, reading the scripture, for those who don't know, it's not an easy, it's not a, reading, one verse on Sunday, that is easy. Reading one verse on Sunday, that is easy. But reading the entire book in a short period of time, well, that I came to realize is actually a challenge. In fact, most people who read the scripture from page to page are number one, prisoners. Prisoners have a lot of time to read the scripture, so uh, most people will tell you they read the entire scripture maybe while in prison or something like that. But here we are finding time in between the week to read the scripture. Any questions up to that? I know it's very difficult, but we'll continue. Any questions? So the Lord will cut off from Israel both head and tail, both palm branch and reed in a single day. The elders and the dignitaries are at the head, and the prophets who teach lies are at the tail. Number one, the prophets who talked about lying, the prophets who talked about false prophets, and one of them is Isaiah. Isaiah was a firebrand, and also Jeremiah. Jeremiah was also a firebrand, and he talked about false prophets until some of them, wanted him to get out of their way. But we'll get to, after Isaiah, we'll get to Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is such an interesting book. And this stream is purposely for academic purposes, maybe for the purposes of adding knowledge, and also for any person is free to join our channel. This channel has not barred anyone from joining in. Anyone can be part of us, of our daily streams. There are no bottlenecks. Anyone is free to read the word. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Let us continue reading. You can see right now we have a lot of politics right now. Any questions up to there? Feel free to ask me your questions and tell me where you're watching me from. All right. Let us continue reading. I'm excited about reading. Or are you guys bored? Any questions? Let us continue. Feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. Therefore the Lord will take no pleasure in the young men, nor will he pity the fatherless and the widows, for everyone is ungodly and wicked, every mouth speaks folly. Yet for all this his anger is not turned away, his hand is still upraised. Wonderful. Any questions? And you see, this week also we have something. I have something prepared for you. We'll talk about the impact of religion in. We'll talk about cults this week. Very, very interesting. We'll talk about the first case we will consider is the case of David Koresh of the group Davidians, and they were based in Texas. It's a very, very interesting case. We'll talk about the Heaven's Gate, how they came up with a theory that the world was about to end. Yet, that was falsehood. We'll talk about another prophet called Jim Jones. Jim Jones, Jim Jones, Jim Jones was another case where he had many followers, and he tricked them. He told them that the world is going to end, and a very, very interesting story. They went from I think it was Indiana. Then they went to another island in Guyana. You see, the one thing about these cults is that they usually mobilize a lot of money, and it's built around the prophet, right? And they got a lot of money, but when he realized that the jig was up, and that when they realized that he poisoned the whole crowd with cyanide, and that's a very good story that we will discuss this week. We're going to discuss about so many problems. You see, religion sometimes can be abused. We're going to talk about so many stories. There are so many stories about how people were able to manipulate the scripture for their own profit. We'll talk about kind of a doomsday. There's so many doomsday. Some of this, the world is about to end. There was one cult that talked about it in 2006. Oh, the world is about to end. Everybody sell your property because Jesus is coming back. And everybody sold their property, only to realize that Jesus was not even thinking about coming back. So there are so many that this week we'll be dealing with that. So this week, that is our topic this week, about cults. Very interesting, um, very interesting topic. You know, there was one cult in Uganda where the church, you know, it was in March. I'll never forget, March 17th, 2000, the year 2000. You know, church in Uganda, our neighbors here, there was a mass murder, and you know, this prophet, this woman of God, locked everybody into the church and set it ablaze, and everybody who was there, you know, died. You know, that is another topic that we are going to discuss about cults. You know, it's a very interesting. In fact, I was just wondering, when will I finish compiling that, you know, that story. You know, it's a very interesting. You know, 700 people died. You know, she was called Credonia. Oh, that was the name I was looking for. Credonia. Oh my God. Muirinde. Oh, that was a criminal. That was a criminal. She was called Credonia. So this week, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be discussing a very nice topic. Don't miss out. I want to tell you. I'll tell you all the stories, and one of the things we're going to do also, we're going to try to understand, you know, what is the psychology, or what are the similarities of these cults. All right, we're going to talk about, you know, I've said we talk about David Koresh. We're going to talk about Heaven's Gate Church. We're going to talk about Credonia Muirinde. We're going to talk about Jim Jones. We're going to talk about Shakahola, and so many other good examples in Africa and out of Africa. So this week we'll talk about so many things that are happening, and why it happens, and you know, the characteristics of some of the cults. You know, are you in a cult? You know, and I remember, you know, I was watching, you know, some of this, another, you know, time I was watching, somebody was saying that, that there's nowadays, there's no the difference is, there's no difference between somebody who's genuine and somebody who's in a cult, because the difference is very small. You can never know. But one of the characteristics, because we're going to talk about, you know, some of the, and we'll start with Muirinde, Credonia Muirinde from Uganda, how they started, you know, the movement, how it started, and how they ended up, you know, corrupting the gospel or adulterating the gospel. All right. So it usually starts in a very humble manner, you know. Oh, I was walking in the street, and you know, lo and behold, I saw an angel. They will never give a simple explanation of how, you know, how they got into the ministry. They will never give a simple explanation. They will always say a story that is from far and beyond. You know, they'll always try to say, you know, um, the things of God are not the things of man. You cannot understand where it came from. you know, I was sleeping and, a story, and God came and touched me and I started performing miracles, stuff like that. And I'm not really saying that people who don't perform miracles, but I'm just saying that most of these cults, and I would call them cults, most of these people who are the founders of these cults, and I will talk about David Koresh, they all have the same the same storyline. David Koresh, I'll talk about Credonia Marinde, I will talk about Shakahola, I will talk about and so many others. They will never come and say that, it started, just come and read the Bible and go. No, there's always a way that they want to to feed on the hunger of their followers, and that is unfortunate, because when you go there, they tend to you know have your book, like they have a manual on how to take advantage of the weaknesses of others. Hey, oh, um, we're going to help you to, we're going to give you maybe instant riches. They'll promise you instant riches. They'll promise you something that is beyond your what? Something, they make sure that whatever they're offering is beyond your reach. But they are never going to say that, they're never going to tell you how you're going to achieve it. But they just tell you, hey, we're in this movement that, we're going to do exploits. And of course, their followers will, most of them follow them blindly. They never question, uh, you know, they never question. You cannot question. And if you question them, you're the enemy. Mm-hmm. Together. When you find that somebody doesn't want to be questioned, or if you try to question them, they'll find a way to say, hey, why are you questioning me? They always try to hide behind, you know, behind a storyline. And of course, there is a problem of superiority complex. Are we together? Any questions up to there? It's only them who are supposed to hear from God, and not you. Any questions up to there? And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. And this week we'll be talking about so many wonderful stories about how they started, how they grew, and how things are today. Like, of course, another example I'll give you is Shakahola. Shakahola, this man used, he used religion, he used the scripture to, he gave a different or a false, he was selling a false doctrine, telling people not to eat. That if they don't eat, then apparently they'll be able to see Christ, which turned out to be false. When they realized that, it was a false narrative that was being perpetuated, it was already too late. This man was not even interested in, the spiritual welfare of his followers. He was only interested in, he would tell you, go and sell everything and bring the money, you know. Go and sell your land and bring the money. And because they're taking advantage of your, because some of you, the people who, in Kenya or in Africa, there's one problem. You're not supposed to question a man of God. which is not correct. Everybody is answerable, even men and women of God. So if you're a man of God and you don't want to be questionable, then that is where the problem is. Nobody is above the law and nobody is beneath the law. And that is how these people now, they turn from spreading the gospel to now they turn into criminals. Are we together? We saw the story of this man called Michael Njoroge. I'll give you so many stories. Michael Njoroge, and of that church that was in City Cabanas. There were a lot of stories that, came out, what they used to do. They would use, they would even use divination, and they would go and use bones of dead bodies or dead men to get people hooked, And this, unfortunately, I cannot say that, yes, everybody is clean. No, I cannot say that everybody is clean. But, yes, we are supposed to be watchful, but also always starts from the top. A fish rots. It always rots from the top, from the head. Are we together? And so I will give you, this week we're going to discuss, and I'm not doing this I'm not against anybody. This week we'll be having a wonderful discussion, how people, they so, you even don't know. Any questions up to there? So we'll talk about David Koresh and his church he even went against the US government and ended up banning everybody. David Koresh, he claimed that he had spiritual powers, and he came from a place called Waco in Texas, all right? It's a very wonderful story we're going to discuss. He had a center called Mount Carmel Center. He would, most people would say that he was the most loving man they've ever met. So he would mask his intentions in good intent. He would mask his intentions in he would pretend that he's this embracing man. He wants to hug everybody. This David Koresh. And that is how he introduced people to his cult. He would always want to be there for you, in quotes. He was pretending that he loves everybody. But you can never find somebody who loves everybody. Come on, man. But you see, you cannot say that you're that loving. No. So this man, David Koresh, and I'll tell you the story. When you go to meet him, he would pretend that he's so caring, that he loves the welfare of everybody, so that he could lure people in. And he built this massive complex in a place called Mount Carmel Center. You can even hear the name Mount Carmel Center, And he would tell people, you don't even need, you don't need, all these things, You'd give examples that people made it. But in reality is that he wanted, everybody around him was poor. It was only him who had money. Are we together? Everybody would sell everything to go and live in Mount Carmel. Women would leave their husbands and go and, to Mount Carmel, to this great man of God. Then he started the false teachings that the end of the world was near. that they needed to stockpile weapons. And before you know it, the government of America, they came and said, you have weapons here, right? Can you surrender to the US government? That is a case of how can interpret the scripture for their own selfish gain. There are so many people who can interpret the scripture. Even the devil can also interpret the scripture for their own selfish gain. Are we together? And you see, ladies and gentlemen, there's always that narrative of us versus them. Oh, this man is the one who is against us. No. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I said this week we're going to talk about cults and how cults have taken root. Even in America today, we're going to discuss what is happening in our world today. Yes, we can even talk about David. We're talking about 5 cases: David Koresh, Heaven's Gate, Credonia Marinde, even Shakahola here in Kenya. So many cases how people exploit the problems of others. They exploit the problem of others. Any questions up to that? Feel free to be part and parcel of our streams and tell me where you are watching me from. If you're new to this channel, feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. So, as I said, it is always us against them. That is one of the characteristics of a cult. They want to claim that they are the only ones who have the roadmap, and others are clueless. That is one of the characteristics of a cult. They want to claim that they alone, that they have the roadmap, and others are clueless. So it's always us. They have the roadmap, and if you try to deviate, they'll say, "Oh, you're not a true worshipper of God." Okay, and others are clueless. Are we together? So when you find yourself in such places, you should be alert, because you'd rather be alone than being brainwashed. There's some kind of brainwashing that goes on, that we are the ones who are going to heaven and everybody else is going to hell. We are the ones who we know when God is coming, when Jesus is coming back. Such narratives, and the Bible is very clear. Whatever they overrule what is written in the scripture, and they don't want you to even read the scripture for yourself. If you find yourself in such a place, then already any person or any question is usually frowned upon. Then, ladies and gentlemen, you are in contact with a cult leader. And there are so many cult leaders. There's so many, and you never know. You'll never know how they look, because on their faces, it's not written cult leader. They always build the entire system around the person, not around whatever is written in the scripture. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment, and I'm very happy to be here this wonderful evening. So, number 2, you're not supposed. There's a way they dress, like they tell women, okay, you put a thing on your hair when you go to meet the man of God. You do like this, you bow severally, you put a carpet on the road for the man of God, you do like this severally, a lot of things that they tell you, oh, the work you're doing is bad, leave it, come and be here near the man of God. So they usually want total obedience, and they don't want you to deviate. That is a problem. They don't want independent thinkers. And if you find yourself in such a place, you need to be very careful. All right, you need to be very careful. They always get offended. Oh, this man thinks he knows. No, they don't want you to read the Bible. They want you to just follow, like they just they don't want anybody to be in a space where they can grow the word. If you're in such a place, then know that you need to be extra careful, not to get sucked in, because the moment you get in such an environment, it's a controlled environment. The moment you want to do your things, this man will say, oh, this is the devil, this is the devil. They tend to know more about the devil than God. Any questions up to there? If you want to buy land, you want to build a house, you want to build a 4-story house, when you share that kind of information to them, they start telling you, oh, no, don't do that. Oh, don't. They want to manipulate you. Or let me put it this way. They want to cut you into size. I don't know whether we are together. You see, when you find yourself somewhere where they're trying to cut you to size, no, you leave this. This is not godly. They tend to be like that. This is not of God. 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 They're not teaching you the word. They're just telling you this is not of God. This is not of God. Ladies and gentlemen, this channel, I'm telling you, when you come here, it is fire. It is fire. I am not sparing you. When you come here to this channel, you will live without your teeth. So, ladies and gentlemen, and I always I don't like being attached, and I want to be very clean, very clear. I always like, putting them at an arm's distance. I don't want, no, we're not enemies. I just want to put you at an arm's distance. All right. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. And I'm not saying that so that you can go start attacking. I'm just saying that you need to be extra careful not to drink the Kool-Aid. All right, because that is what Jim Jones did. Jim Jones, he ended up murdering in Johnstown. He ended up murdering how many people? He ended up murdering so many people. He took people out, took them to a rural place in Guyana, and it was called the People's Temple. You see, and in 1978, he murdered everybody, 900 people, because they were drinking the Kool-Aid. All right, he put poison in the juice, and he gave the people and told the people, oh, after we drink this is our last Holy Communion. After we drink this juice, we're going to heaven. Immediately, when the people realized, the next day, the entire place, it was called Johnstown. The entire place, there were 951 people dead. 950. This one man killed 950 men dead. Another one from Uganda called Credence. she also came up with such a modus operandi, because the modus operandi is the same. Go and sell everything. Jesus, when Jesus met the rich man, he told him, go and sell everything and follow me. That is what Jesus said. Jesus met a young man. He told the young man, go and sell everything and follow me. And this young man asked Jesus, what can I do to gain the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus told him, go and sell everything and follow me. So these people, these unscrupulous, dealers, let me call them unscrupulous brokers of the word, they tell you, you have land, go and sell it. Go and sell everything. They want to finish up with your identity. You go and sell everything, sell your land, sell everything you have and come. So they want to swallow you up. That's their modus operandi. Go and sell your house and come. And that is exactly what they did in Credence Marinde. Women left their husbands. They said, I'm following Credence. And they went, And she gave a prophecy. She said on 17th March 2000, the world will end. So let's go to the church. They locked the church. And they set the church on fire. The next day, they found people already dead. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, I always tell you people, and I'll tell you for free, and without fear or favor, and I'm not asking for anything, read the word on your own. All right? Yes, it's good to listen, but also read the word on your own. Discover the truth on your own. There's no place written that you should not read the word. So this week we'll have a wonderful, wonderful time. It's a stinger. This week it's gonna be a stinger. It's gonna be a what? It's gonna be a stinger. We're gonna box you this week. Oh, you're gonna love it. Surely wickedness burns like a fire. It consumes briars and thorns. It sets the forest thickets ablaze, so that it rolls upward in a column of smoke. By the wrath of the Lord Almighty, the land will be scorched, and the people will be fuel for the fire. They will not spare one another. On the right they will devour, but still be hungry. On the left they will eat, but not be satisfied. Each will feed on the flesh of their own offspring. Any questions after that? It's around 4. And after this we're going to continue reading. Any questions after that? Tell me where you're watching me from. I'm very happy to be here. And this is the Chariots, the Sultans of Swing. Any questions? Any questions after that? Feel free to subscribe and comment. As my hand sees the kingdoms of the idols, kingdoms whose images excelled those of Jerusalem and Samaria, shall I not deal with Jerusalem and her images as I dealt with Samaria and her idols? When the land has finished all his work against Mount Zion and Jerusalem, he will say, I will punish the king of Assyria with the willful pride of his heart and the haughty look in his eyes. For he says, by the strength of my hand I have done this, and by my wisdom, because of understanding, I have removed the boundaries of nations, I have plundered their treasuries. Like a mighty one, I subdued their kings. So we are going this week also in the book of Isaiah. We're going to talk about, this man called Sennacherib. As one reaches into a nest, so my hand reached for the wealth of the nations. As people gather abandoned eggs, so I gathered all the countries. Not one flapped a wing or opened its mouth to cheep. Any questions after that? Does the axe raise itself above the person who swings it, or the saw boost against the one who uses it? As if a road were to yield the person who lifts it up, or a club brandish the one who is not wood. Any questions? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. This is a very, very wonderful time to read the word. If you love reading the word, come to this channel and we'll be analyzing the scripture, we'll be analyzing what is happening. I know so many people want me to talk about the shooting that happened when Trump went to a hotel in Washington. I know so many people want me to talk about the appeal of Rigathi Gachagua. So many stories, you know. Any questions? Any questions? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. Any questions? Do you enjoy the streams? If you do enjoy the streams, subscribe and comment. And any questions? Any questions? Let's continue reading. Therefore the Lord Almighty will send a wasting disease upon its sturdy warriors, and his pomp of fire will be kindled like a blazing fire. The light of Israel will become a fire, the Holy One a flame. In a single day it will burn and consume its thorns and briars. The splendor of its forests and fertile fields it will completely destroy, as when one is still ill wastes away. And the remaining trees of his forest will be so few that a child could write them down. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Right now it's raining. I'm sure I don't want the lights to go out, because if the lights go out, the stream will not have the light. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching me from. In that day, the remnants of Israel, the survivors of Jacob, will no longer rely on him who struck them down, but they will truly rely on the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. A remnant will remain, a remnant of Jacob will return to the mighty God. Any questions up to there? Do you enjoy our channels? If you do enjoy our channels, subscribe. We'll be here for another hour. And tell me where you're watching me from. Do you enjoy this channel? Subscribe and comment. I know the truth is hard to come by. That is why we'll be dispensing the truth. We'll be dispensing the truth without fear or favor. All right? I'm not here to lie to anybody. I'm just here to tell you guys the truth, about how it is. Any questions? I'll be here to tell you the truth about, our country and how people take advantage of the religion. I'm not against anybody. Not against any man of God. I'm just giving you the facts. I'll give you case studies of what happened in the past few years. There's a man of God in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's called Prophet Konde. That is his name. It's called Prophet Konde from Kinshasa. This man of God claims that You know, he has this drink that if you drink it, you know, if you have HIV, you know, the lie is very audacious. You know, the lie is audacious. You know, sometimes I don't know whether you understand the meaning of audacious. The lie is very audacious. Hmm? You know, the lie is very audacious. You know, he said that he can cure HIV. Hmm? He can cure HIV with only one drink. You know, he can cure all the diseases. The lie is very audacious because, you know, at least I can say he has the audacity to lie because he claims that I'm good, perfume, I'm very good. So this man called Prophet Conde from the Democratic Republic of Congo, he came up with this audacious lie that he can cure HIV/AIDS, and yet he's a man of God. Do you see how dangerous that lie is? Because here people with HIV and AIDS flock to his place in Kinshasa and they demand the magic cup that this man is offering with prayers. Do you see how dangerous it is? And to make matters worse, one cup like this, one cup, he sells it for $20. One cup like this. He's really milking people who have HIV and AIDS. You know, people are desperate. People want healing, and people they're desperate. They are in need. They maybe some of these people, you know, when they contracted HIV and AIDS, of course their lives, you know, everything changed. So they go to this Prophet Conde, and they want healing. And this man is very audacious. He tells them, you know, I can heal HIV. I can heal, you know, all the diseases with just one cup like this, with the magic, you know, medicine. And one cup is $20. You know, that is very audacious, and people buy it. You know, you see now here this man, and that's why I'm telling you the dangers of people who abuse religion or people who abuse the knowledge of the scripture. You know, and then when you get into the office, it's written, he has quoted Exodus 15:26. I am the God that healeth thee. You see now, that is very dangerous because people pay money, you know, people pay money. You see, let's read Exodus 15:26. He says, if you listen carefully to the Lord your God and do what is in his eyes, if you pay attention to his commands and keep all his decrees, I will not bring on you any of the diseases I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. Are we together? So here, I've given you, this week we're going to discuss about how people abuse religion, or how people abuse. You see, abuse of power is not just a political seat. I'll tell you exactly this week what we are going to discuss. We're going to discuss David Koresh. We're going to discuss Jim Jones. We will discuss Prophet Conde. We're going to discuss Credonia Marende. We're going to discuss Shakahola. We're going to discuss Heaven's Gate and many other things. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe and comment. Thank you.